The second principle is distribution of effort. But what does it mean to distribute the effort in concrete terms? Well, it means a few things. First, it means having good symmetry so that the load is well distributed on each side of my body. Second, it means to avoid working with a twisted back, especially when lifting a heavier load. It also means distributing the load well on different parts of my body, the shoulders, knees, lower back, to not put everything on the lower back. This principle is mostly important when the initial load is heavier or if you had a lot of lifting during your workday. Let's start with symmetry. We can imagine someone carrying something heavy on one side of the body, as it is the case there. What we understand here is that the whole load is on the same side and therefore the whole body, especially the lower back, is working hard on one side of the body only. We're not in symmetry at the moment. In a context like this, we understand that it is better to carry two suitcases at the same time, even if the total load is a little higher, because at least we will have a good distribution of the weight and effort on each side of the body, and that is what is really important for heavy lifting. In everyday life, we can think about going grocery shopping. It seems trivial, but if all my canned goods are on the same side, in the same bag, I will end up with a very heavy load on one side of my body. So I would be better off bringing two grocery bags and filling the bags more or less evenly to have a better distribution of the load on each side of my body to better distribute the efforts. It's a bit the same thing that happens when you carry a bag on the shoulder. Here the load is a little closer to the spine, so it's a little better, but we're still in asymmetry, and there could be some strain and fatigue that sets in over the day if we carry several loads in this way. One of the solutions would be to sometimes change the way you carry something and to take the bag in your arms, for example, or to alternate between the two sides of the body, so that to carry for a while on the right shoulder and then the left shoulder, and to alternate sides like that. Another thing I will want to consider if I have to lift a moderate to heavy load is to keep a good body alignment, to have my feet, shoulders, hips, and knees lined up during manual handling, and to be careful not to end up in a twisted position like this. When our back is twisted, the structures are stretched and the back is more fragile than when we are in a neutral position. We'll now talk about how the weight is distributed on the body. In the example we see here, it is quite clear that there is much greater load on the lower back, bending forward with the back curve. Our backs are not made to work like that. So what can we do? Benjamin shows us here a much safer technique for heavy lifting. By bending his knees more and keeping his back straighter, he distributes the load much better on the shoulders, knees, and lower back. So is it always essential to be symmetrical and perfectly distributed? You may already understand that it's not mandatory to perfectly distribute every effort on the body at all times. It becomes most important when lifting a heavy load or when lifting a lot of them during the workday. In summary, for the second principle, we have seen a few important things to consider. We've seen symmetry, therefore the importance of distributing the load in a more or less balanced way on both sides of the body when the load is heavy. We also talked about the importance of avoiding back twists during handling. Then we talked about the concept of distributing the load on different anatomical structures of the body, so putting some on the shoulders, on the knees, to avoid putting all the load on the lower back. We also discussed the importance of paying attention to the curvature of the lower back during manual handling. And finally, we discussed the necessity to use safer techniques when the load is getting heavier or for highly repeated or frequent handling.